Good evening if you're in Nairobi. Greetings from Accra. I'm currently in Accra and I just want to pass my greetings to anyone who's there. As I said, I'll be keeping time, so I will just start as I wait for people to join in. If you come in, let me see. I'd like to hum. Let me welcome you. Let me welcome you. Let me welcome you. Those who are watching, I welcome you. If you can hear me, please wave. Let me know. As I always say, we have 30 minutes of sweet interaction. Your psycho education. Benson Omanga, good evening. Can you hear me? Am I clear? Am I clear? Please let me know. If let me know if you can hear me properly. I don't know if I am audible. Yes, Ian Mwangi Karibu Sana. Can you hear me, Ian? Are you there? Can you hear me? Benson, you can't hear me? Just let me know. Type in the inbox so that I can see. I don't know if I'm actually using my headphones. If they're not working, I'll definitely remove them. Good evening, Christine. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Am I audible? Please let me know so that I not clear. Okay, I can see Benson. You're saying not clear. So what I'm going to do is definitely I am going to remove this Bluetooth. I'm using my earphones. Put them back. Am I clear now?
Can you hear me, guys? Please wave if I'm clear. I don't want to start without. Oh, yes, thank you, Ian. Greetings from the land of what? I am in Accra, Shea Butter, Black Soap. This is where we get, and I'm in my African gear. I thank God for these tailors here. Benson, thank you so much for confirming you're hearing me. Karibu sana to our Sunday psycho education mental health empowerment talks. I will start, and as usual I say this is gonna be short and sweet. I hope this time I'm not going to get into the 1 hour. I'm going to make it short and sweet. 30 minutes is what I'm projecting. I'm actually supposed to be engaging somewhere else later on in the evening. That's why we have started early. Now, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I would ask you to subscribe. I'm going to be having my Mindspa team coming in, posting. If Mindspa you're online, my Mindspa team kindly post our number. I'd like you to engage with me if you have any issues, and especially on what I'm going to be talking about today. Of course, I am basically dealing with marriage in this continuous sessions. Until I'm done, then we can pick on another topic. But we are on stage 3. And if you're here and you don't belong to any of our women's or men's safe space, please let us know. I'll definitely reach out. I'm gonna put you in the WhatsApp group. We are all about mental health. Now, it is so sad. Let me say this, and I want to start this as talk about this as an icebreaker. It is so sad that we go out there to other countries, or probably we are in a place where we are investing, putting in a lot of our money, to invest for our children, to invest for the future. And yet, the most important place, your mindset. You leave it hanging. The most important space, your marriage, your relationships. And relationships are very wide, with your children, with your employees, if you're here and you're an employer, with, people who are around you, the social space. All right? You neglect this space and you end up very frustrated. So today I'm going to be talking about my experience, something I experienced that is so horrid, as I start us off. And we are going to be talking about the third stage of marriage or any relationship, any intimate relationship. And if you belong to our men's group, if you belong to our women's group, please call people, let them come in. I love engaging. And if you have any questions, even as I continue talking to us, please feel free to post in the chat box, or if not, you can always slide into my inbox and ask me. I'll definitely be able to get back to you. Even though I delay the process of responding, I will definitely get back to you. So this other day, let me share this, because I did post it on Facebook. We were in a group, and we were discussing about, a very sad state whereby, someone has transitioned because they died by suicide. And I brought in the issue of people working together, and not only just celebrating, not only just making the group about funerals, but also kind of like celebrating each other. We have, in as much as yes, people are transitioning, they're always people who are also being blessed by getting children and all that. So I said we need to celebrate each other. So this person comes in into the into my takes my comments and puts it, and I replies and says, this is not a therapy group, this is not, don't bring up your therapy questions here, and they were so harsh and they were so rude. But the thing is, I was not shocked, and I want to say this, and I want to underline and highlight this. I was not shocked. Why? Because this particular person, we have, it's a childhood group, so we have had a journey, we have walked a journey, and this person, I know them like this, like the back of my hands. Have you ever had people around you who pray for your downfall, who literally will do anything to bring you down? They will use lies, they will even try and so to bring you down. So I was not shocked, because out of these many people, she's the person that came out and said, and she vowed, and she has even said it in her own verbal articulation, I will bring you down. So ideally, when she started, I said, no, someone must rise to this occasion, because in this particular group, she has always come out as an emotional bully. Someone who is bullying others around, commanding others around, feeling superior around people. So ideally, I want to say this. For me, why this was not a shock is because I have studied this person. I know them. I have felt their energy. Like, they're people who never want you to succeed. Okay? Now, let's shift from this kind of situation and start talking about marriages. Now, we've talked about the honeymoon stage. Okay, for those of you who've been following these talks, we started with the honeymoon stage, where it was all about love, and then we moved in to the drama, where Chuck Norris comes, and you're shooting each other, you're basically pulling each other down. All right, and that was the drama stage. And for those of you who have not maybe been able to be here before and listen to me, you can go back to the previous live sessions. There's so many where we've talked about so many things, but in this drama stage, just to do a recap, we talk about people fighting, hurting one another, fear, there's so much fear engulfing that space. There's so much hatred and resentment. My God, do you know there's a very thin line between love and hate? Very thin line. It is the reason why people wake up, and that's why I talk about Chuck Norris, where you're shooting each other, you don't care. You have literally developed severe hatred for one another. So what you do is that anything that can bring this other person down, you will engage in it. And of course, last of all is the doubt that we go through in this stage of drama. Now, after every fight, you being wounded, blood being shed, and this is just an analogy because we don't want anyone to kill each other in the marriage, comes in the next stage, just like I was, narrating, where you discover, you have assessed yourselves in the honeymoon stage. You have assessed yourself as you fought, the many things that you have done to hurt each other. You have them in your mind. Do you know our mind has a way of carrying stories? Ideally, when I sit down with people, part of the things that I try to assess is their childhood experiences. Why? There's a compartment in your brain that hides things. There's a compartment in your brain that stores information, just like a library. And when you need it, or when it's triggered, it brings out this information at the right time. Now, when we get to this stage of discovery, it is when now we go back to the library and we are trying to see things. We are trying to assess this person that we are with. We are trying to discover, are we in the right space with this person? All right? So there are so many things that we discover as we journey on in life. When people come in for therapy, they come in with very many issues. Some of them, they are going through trauma. Some of them are grieving. Some of them are going through divorce. Some of them are thinking of divorce. Some of them are even going through separation and many other things. All right? But it is in this space as we start talking one to another in that therapeutic setup, all right, that people start discovering things. Hey, I didn't discover that. And people start realizing they also have imperfections. Because sometimes we come in and we want to find out, am I the one with the problem in this relationship? Am I the one who's causing this relationship to fail? Is it that my partner does not love me? There are so many questions, guys, that we ask, especially during those hurtful stages of a relationship. All right? But the beautiful thing about making any discovery, the beautiful thing about it is that we start accepting things. Once you discover, you have already known. So the next thing is to accept. And someone will ask me, what are the things, Venus, that I would accept in any marriage, in any relationship where I find myself? Do you know what I'm going through right now? Do you know how it feels to go through sleepless nights wondering about this mistake that I made in my life by settling down with this woman, by settling down with this man? Well, part of the things that I want to let you know when you're in this stage of discovery is, number one, there is no relationship that is perfect. So you will never ever be perfect. If you want to get to a place of perfection, please see God. Because according to what I know, there's only one perfect person or perfect being, and that is God. So once you're able to accept that this relationship, no matter what you do, even these things that we see people getting, even, I always see people saying, oh, I admire you because, you're there on social media. I want to say this, and I want to be very open about my relationship. I've been very open about my relationship as Dr. Venus, all right? My marriage is not perfect, and it will never be perfect. That one, I discovered. And I accepted and I adjusted, all right? So if you're looking at your marriage, pushing it towards perfection, you will get stressed, you will get stressed, and you will never attain that perfection. Okay? So number one thing that you need to know in this stage of discovery is you realize that your relationship will never get to perfection. So you try and now start working at the things that you can work on. All right? You stop focusing on the wrong things. You stop focusing on the wrong mentality. You start now adjusting or adapting to the fact that you're weak. Both of you. You're imperfect. And you will never be perfect. Look at your partner and seize their flaws. Accept them and know they can never fully function, because it's only things like robots that are also close to perfection. And they are basically, when there's no power, or maybe the battery goes off, you know what happens. So ideally, what I want you to let most of you know is, as long as you're looking at your partner as that person who needs to be perfect, you will forever be frustrated. No matter what you do, you can never get to a place of perfection. And nothing should ever make you feel like other, I don't know if I'm still, yes, I'm online. It is rare you find someone coming in and bringing in their dirty issues in public. So learn to know that whatever we are seeing out here on social media is the best that maybe people can be at. Now the dirt is what is there 90 or 80%, and it's never brought out in public. Let that console you if you think you are experiencing a lot of issues. All right? So when you see us capturing those good moments, remember the 80% is not being put on paper. All right? Now, the second thing that you need and you'll always discover when you mature, because after fighting, shedding, blood and all that, and going through a lot of unnecessary self-inflicted pain, because everything starts from your mentality. You get to a place now, you realize, this person, I share the same bed with them. This person, they know my nakedness. This person, I have even had children with them. This person, I have invested with them. So, if you've gone out of your way, hi Mokai, if you go out of your way to remove your clothes, show your scars, open up your heart, have children with this person, invest with this person, even live in the same house, why do you make it look like they're your enemy? Why do you make it look like, and why do you focus on fighting them? You sleep in the same bed. Hello, Dr. Mombi. Thank you, Big Sis, for being here. Please call the ladies in our group. Why do you look at this person like they're your enemy? You're living in the same house. You've had children with them. You've invested. You've done all these things. And then, all of a sudden, Sali karibu sana, call our women. You decide that this person is your opponent. Now, let me say this. By the time you're getting to the discovery stage, by the time you're maturing from fighting one another to going on to the next stage of discovery, there's one thing that you need to change. And if you're going to take anything from this short talk, this is what I want you to capture. You must accept and you must realize, you must discover you're not opponents but teammates. All right? I want to put that in bold, in capital letters. You must discover you're not opponents. You and your partner, your teammates. You're one. And you must have a unified front. This thing of a couple doing this, the other person is on this other side. You are on the extreme opposite end. You're having fights. You're literally now I don't know. I don't even know how to call it, and you end up fighting each other instead of fighting one common unit. All right? So the most important thing is for you to align your mindset and realize you're no longer opponents. In this stage, let me tell you, hapa ndio tunasemanga, we don't like, in Swahili we say, hatupendangi makasiriko. And in English we say, here, it's not a place where we are busy, getting annoyed through and through. No. In this place, we have chosen peace. We have chosen one another. We have chosen to hold hands and fight whatever is fighting against us. If it's poverty, you must fight poverty together. If you have enemies of progress, you must fight these enemies of progress together. If it's the issue of stagnation, you must fight stagnation together. Even the Bible says, unless two agree, there can never be growth. So one thing that I would want to emphasize in this stage, and if you want to know if you're in this stage, is when you realize that this other person is not your enemy, is not your enemy. I'm in Accra, so I'll use this accent. Is not your enemy. This person actually is your teammate. And you need to borrow from their energy. You need to hold their hands, because together you will stand. Divided, you will always fall. And I speak this and I say this from a place of being, first of all, in a marriage, and secondly, dealing with couples. I observe couples a lot when they come in for the sessions. Part of the things that I want to find out is, are you doing things together? Are you working together? Because if you are divided, let me tell you, you will scatter and you will fall down in very, very many different, they say they come in as one, but you scatter in 7, directions. All right? So ideally in the discovery stage, you learn to embrace the other person as part of your team. And in this team, there must be a leader. All right? So ideally, 2 things. If you're joining us, you can also say hi and tell me where you're watching from. First thing that we discover in this stage is that we will never be perfect. The second thing is we are not enemies. We are not opponents. We are teammates. Now, I love this stage because I feel I just came from, I don't know, I think I'm just lingering between this one and the next stage, okay? Now, one thing that happens in this stage is a lot of learning. Remember, you've come from hurting each other, the drama. Your dirty linen has been in public. It is about, the drama stage is about, infidelity. It's about, resentment. It's about unpacking, I'm leaving. That is the characteristic of the drama stage. But now in this discovery stage, after all is said and done, we begin learning. We begin growing. We begin becoming a better us. Why? Number one, you realize, rule number 1 in marriage, you can never give what you don't have. So you start investing in yourself. This is the place where I see people coming in and they're saying, Venus, I'm in a marriage, but I want to first see if I'm the problem. So you're learning, you're trying to grow yourself. And when you start growing, it means you're learning. All right? So part of the things that happens when you're learning is you learn to turn your disagreements. And I want you guys to write this down. I want to say when you're coming in, please have your paper and pen. Write a few things. Go and reflect on them during the week so that when we meet next week, at least you have done something. You have done some homework. You have put down, you can actually put, on paper that this and this happened during the week, and it's because I decided to learn. So you learn to move from disagreements, to turn your disagreements to defining moments. One of the things that I like is going back to places where I cried. Spaces where, and dates where I was so down, beaten, broken in my own marriage, and turning those moments into spaces of beauty. So ideally, if you know your season of fighting is, December, because, you're not being taken for holiday, this December, go back into that space and say, now this is going to be the greatest December. The last 7 years, I have fought this person. I have literally wanted to kill this person. But this year, because I know they can never be perfect, I am going to turn this month, this very stubborn month, this very stubborn space into a place where I am going to be joyful. I'll experience the maximum joy that I can as a human being. So it's about, guys, going back and knowing when I was young, I was stupid. I was fighting my spouse. I was undoing myself. I was, washing my dirty linen in public. But now, because I have grown, I have discovered that I can change my situation. I can change my story into defining moments of glory. All right? So learning that your disagreements can be changed into defining moments. The next thing that we learn in this stage of discovery, guys, and if you're here, you want to get married, you're in a broken marriage, you are Rose Karibu Sana, I can see you're here, receive greetings from Accra. What I want you to know is that at the end of the day, if you don't learn to reflect, if you don't learn to take time away from the noises and reflect your learning points, you will never be grateful. I want to ask you guys, and to anyone who will be listening to me in the future, probably will come across this video. Do you ever give thanks for the small 1, 2, 3 traits that your partner has? Or is it just about their fault? What do you see in this relationship? What stands for you? Are you dwelling on the positives, or do you focus so much on the negatives? Oh, she didn't do this. Oh, she's always like this. Oh, so you take one thing, one negative thing, you expand it and expound it. You put it on a podium and you focus on it. So if it's something that was negative, you've made it a dragon. And by making it a dragon and focusing so much on it, it drains every piece of livelihood in you. Because you have chosen to focus on a negative thing. I always say one of the key skills of a good marriage, or partakers of any marriage, partners in marriage, spouses, is learning to just reflect. You reflect. You sit down, reflect on the good things about your partner. And on top of that, start giving thanks. God, I thank you for this woman. In as much as she is always angry, she makes sure that the kids are fed. She puts food on the table, and this food is tasty. Pick the positives. Your brain is like a wire, and it moves in a particular direction with a particular momentum. So teach it, recondition yourself. Start dwelling on positives. Let me say this. It is good to correct your spouse. It is good to correct your partner. Okay? And when you correct them, give them time to learn, review. However, as you correct, try and note down the many beautiful things they have done to you and for you. When you start, a lot of marriages fail because of one thing. I hear spouses coming in, and I'm not encouraging bad behavior in marriages. But can you imagine, out of like maybe 10 qualities, probably your spouse is failing in one thing. And this one thing is the one thing that will make you go to the lawyer to ask for a divorce. While there are 9 beautiful, amazing things, qualities, traits, characteristics that you can give God thanks for. Guys, let me tell you, attitude is the number 1 component of gratitude. Your attitude in marriage is very, very important. Okay? So again, I'll say this. In this discovery stage, we realize that we can turn disagreements to defining moments. In this stage, we realize that instead of focusing on negative things, we can learn to reflect on the beauty. And thank you, Dr. Mombi, for posting this. We can have a positive attitude that will bring positive energy in the relationship. And lastly, as I said, this time we're going to do 30 minutes. Lastly is the routines. In the discovery stage, if there's anything we embrace, is routines. These routines are normally geared towards, and this is what I teach couples, come up with routines that can promote the relationship, make it work. All right? And what do you need in every routine that you decide to come with, and every routine that you adapt to? Let me put it that way. 3 things must show up. 3 things must be your areas of focus. Number 1, your routines should promote love between you. Simple things. reminding each other that you love one another, kissing, hugging, checking upon one another. Now, there are people who are very weird, and I'll say this, you know, we are different, and depending on our personality disorders. If you're listening to me and you've not listened, you know, to the videos that I've done on narcissism, now, one thing that I can say about narcissistic behavior is that narcissists lack empathy. These are the people you will cry. I listen to couples say, you know, when I cry, he does not even bother. I even try. I block them. I do what? You know, you're basically showing this person like, you know, but they will never bother. You block them. You pack your things and leave. You know, they will never ever respond to you trying to reach out to them. Okay? So, love can never be cultivated in any way. Let me tell you, a marriage or a relationship that has no empathy, a marriage or a relationship that has no empathy can never work. Because as human beings, we connect from a place of love. It all goes down to how you made me feel. When I talked to you, when I brought up an issue, did you bother? Did you react to it with love? This thing whereby, you know, people, you know, you're told something and you decide, okay, whatever, you're misbehaving in this matter, I'll show you, I'll teach you. Oh, Venus, oh, you're overreacting, let me show you what I'm made of. Those are the things that bring down relationship. If you're a man here, let me start with the men. And every time your wife is crying, literally, maybe she's on the floor, she's trying to cry for you, she's looking for your attention, and you're not giving it to her, she will never ever connect with you. She will never ever connect to you. The moment this woman stops kissing you, the moment she stops looking for you, not answering your calls, you know this relationship is going down. In so many ways, the writing is on the wall. I know where this marriage is ended. Where it's ending. All right? So as a man, I always say this. You know, women are dramatic. Take time. Show empathy. You know, men are not really so much of emotional beings. But just asking, you know, what have I done? How can I always ask couples, can you learn to ask each other, how can I make you feel better? What can I do to make you feel better? That is very, very important. All right? If you're a woman here and you're noticing, oh, your husband, you know, is reaching out, you know, they're trying to show you, you know, they need you. Don't be too harsh. Don't be too harsh. Bring out the nurturing self. God has created you to nurture. Reach out. You know, men have many ways of manifesting their need to be needed, their need to be loved. All right? So this thing of saying, okay, you know, a man is not supposed to show emotion, those are things of the past, you know, those ages. Right now, we are encouraging men to come out there and be expressive. So lack of empathy in any relationship will take that relationship, you know, to a place of, you know, hurt. Because where there is no love, there is no connection. And how does connection come in? We must learn not only to show empathy, but to communicate. There's some rules this month. I'm talking about relationship rules. If you can check out my Dr. Venus Chengo. So I have 2 pages, the Mind Spa and Dr. Venus Chengo. I'm talking about, you know, relationship rules. And one of the things that I always say, you know, and I put it the other day, was it yesterday? If you're not happy in the relationship, say it. Say it. Don't die in silence. Huh? People just come and bury you because you decided to die by suicide. It was not working out. You didn't trust people to say it. Now the next thing you decide, oh, I'm gonna take my life. All right? So if you're not happy, tell it. Say it. Tell your partner, I'm not happy. I'm not happy because of 1, 2, 3. When you communicate, you're able to connect at some point. By the time you're communicating, you're already connecting. And a marriage cannot thrive if there's no love and if there's no communication. All right? Now, on to my last point, intimacy. Now, love, connection, communication breeds intimacy. There's a book, that goes by the title, Sex Begins in the Kitchen. Now, sex, by the time you're having sex, it's a process, eh? So by the time you're actually having, that intimate connection, it started in the morning. Let me say that. So ideally, what I want to say, if there's no intimacy in your relationship, there's a problem. There's a big, big problem. Because feelings can never be faked. Rarely. And if they're faked, you will definitely notice it. All right? So that's it and done, guys. I know I've exceeded by 6 minutes. If you're here for the first time, please, subscribe to this channel. We are always, doing free mental health talks today. My Mindspark team has already put the number. Please take note of this number. If you're going through issues in your relationship, which stage are you at? Are you in the honeymoon stage? Are you in the drama stage where it's all about fighting and fighting and fighting and crying, packing, leaving, cleaving, You must decide. At this stage, you decide whether you're leaving or you're cleaving. Once you decide you're cleaving, you must go the whole way. All right? So if you're going through any issues as an individual, as a couple, as a family, whether it's a disease, whether it is marital related, whether it's an issue to do with your progress in life, please reach out. I always say it is better talking to a counselor. It is better talking to a counselor than friends who at the end of the day, when the friendship ends, they're bound to go out there, gossip about you, and spill all your issues to public. So this is a safe space. We have WhatsApp groups where we call women's safe space, men's safe space. Please join us. Join this in this day and age. Let me tell you, if you don't invest in your mental health, you're done. You're done. If you don't invest in yourself, I'm telling you, you will have the money, you will leave it here because your death will be near. Learn to invest in the greatest wealth of all, and that is your mental health. That's it and done. Today I've tried. We are 8 minutes past, what we had targeted as our, time frame. Allow me to end the session there. Today, as I said, I'm in Accra. I have another engagement and I'm having a talk later on. So I hope this was, of much help to you. You can always reach out, give me feedback. Let me know what you also want me to talk about. In between the weeks this year, I'm going to be introducing other topics away from marriage. Please let me know, reach out. Let's talk more. Let me engage with you. Don't die in silence. I actually have, Bishop, thank you so much. I can see my bishop, my spiritual dad is here. Thank you, Patrick, for being here with us. What I want to say is that, at the end of the day, help is there. I have a group of counselors, coaches, people who can walk the journey with you. All right? So reach out and we will definitely be able to support you. That said and done, please remember to share this video. Anyone you know might stand to benefit from this video, please share the link with them and let's, change this society. Let's change our marriages. Let's change our relationships and make them, the places the relationships that we want them to be. Ras, baby, you're late, but you can always listen to the talk. Of course, we are just winding up and it's great to see you. Happy New Year, all right? So guys, thank you so much. See you next week. Invite a friend, subscribe to our channel, and let's keep on, talking about mental health. God bless you and see you next time. Bye-bye.